Oh my god, hey! It's Mickey Jo here on Broadway outside the Music Box Theatre where the Tony Award-winning new musical Suffs is playing, and I am here today to meet one of its stars, the fantastic rising star, Hannah Cruz. Oh my god, hey, Hannah Cruz.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing in the year of your Broadway debut in Suffs?
I'm good. I'm exhausted, but I'm very good. Yeah.
For this to be your Broadway debut, your Broadway experience, how is it shaping up to whatever expectations you might have had about what that would eventually look like?
I think what I've learned, I don't know as far as my expectations go, but doing a show 8 times a week is just as hard whether you're on the road, whether you're on Broadway, whether you're doing something regionally. It's kind of all what I guess the Broadway thing that I've learned is the community is really incredible. Like, especially this season with so many shows that have opened, and getting to be on this block in particular is really special, and getting to have friends so close by. So that aspect I really, really enjoy, and that has lived up to my expectations tenfold.
Yeah, amazing. Do you have, what's the earliest memory you have of wanting to be a performer and knowing that that needed to be on stage?
I used to watch Barney and Friends and wanted to be one of the friends so badly. And I don't think I understood that that meant performing, but I really wanted to be one of the kids on the TV. And every year for Christmas on my wish list for Santa, I would ask for an agent because I thought that that's how I could get one. But I remember knowing I was going to do this when I saw Patti LuPone in Gypsy at the St. James Theater. And I didn't know you could do this like that. And that was like the nail in the coffin for me. I knew this is what I was going to do.
I was reading about this earlier today, that was like an important theatrical experience for you. And then you got to play Rose in high school, right? And it's still out there on YouTube. I watched it this afternoon.
Oh,
no, a very powerful performance.
Thank you.
I think. And are we adding you to the list of all the people who need to do Gypsy at some point? Audra's coming, and then Lea Salonga will probably be next.
Sure.
And then I think we've got a couple decades of former Elphabas.
Sure.
But if we just register you at the bottom there, and just to make sure that that's on the trajectory at some point.
Absolutely. I would love to tackle that when I'm older. I would love to play Louise in the meantime. I love Gypsy is I think it's the perfect show. It's perfect. If you take away the music, it's a play. It's perfect. I love it.
And you've sort of, for most of your career thus far, have been forging a path with new musicals. And so Suffs right now, but earlier this year, The Connector as well, which was the first time I saw you on stage. What was it like getting to develop new Jason Robert Brown musical Off-Broadway? That must have been pretty special.
Yeah, I think I'm still wrapping my head around it now that the album is out. I'm getting to relive the experience in a really visceral way. That was if teenage Hannah could see that, I think she would die. I did last 5 years in high school too. And Jason is just the lifeblood of musical theater for my age group. And I can't believe that I got to create a new Jason Robert Brown musical. Me and Ben Levi Ross would talk about it all the time. It's just it's almost too much to comprehend. And he is so silly and personable. And the fact that he played the show with us every night was really wild. And to consider him a colleague is something I'm really honored to say. Yeah.
He seems very down to earth. I got introduced to him by Robert Horn at Holdfast a few months ago, and he fist bumped me, and I was like,
"That's him."
He was like, "Do you know Jason?" I was like, "I'm slightly aware of his work."
Yeah.
Just the most important voice in contemporary musical theatre.
Truly, Bridges of Madison County is another one that is just perfect. I love that show. It's perfect.
Yeah, amazing. And you're both fantastic in The Connector. It was your bit for months afterwards, before thank God the cast recording is now out and we can all go and enjoy it. But it was, the whole world changed, everything stayed the same, over and over again.
Yeah. That one, God, opening a show is so tough. Being the first number is so hard. And that song is the hardest one to sing in the show. So that was always a little panic-inducing for me. Plus, you saw it was a very intimate space. Everyone is very close to you, and there's something you can't hide, which is a really great challenge and can be very fun, but not 8 shows a week all the time. Yeah.
Can we discuss the fact that you had a very, your high school musical theatre roles, Kathy in the Last 5 Years, which was presumably just 2 people.
Yeah.
And then you did Mummerous. Did anyone else get to do anything in your high school musical theatre time?
Yeah, for sure. I also did Joanne and Company. It was a very special place.
I could see you as a Joanne and Company.
I love Joanne.
Yeah.
Patti LuPone also played Joanne. I'm just saying.
There you go.
There's a line there.
I think the through line with the stuff that I've seen you do in a lot of these roles as well is you have a tremendous presence and a force, and you've got to play some really formidable characters. And in this show as well, and you've had such an interesting trajectory with Suffs, because if people don't know, in a previous version of the show, you were playing Rusha, who was a different character, and you're now playing Inez Milholland. And they sort of, they're in many of the same scenes, and they're in the same place, and there are things they have in common, but they're also very different. Yeah. So is there anything you miss about playing that role, and what was it like going from one to the other?
Yeah, I definitely miss doing all the prison stuff. I had it sounds awful, but doing the report was really fun for me. I'm like a very physical actor, and getting to like really go through all of that was very fun. I would always get notes to pull back, so I missed that. But initially going from Ruja to Inez was very jarring to me. It took me because not only are they very different, Ruja sings the bottom and Inez sings the top, and I really enjoyed playing Ruja because it was one of the first times I got to kind of chill vocally. And as much as I love musical theater, the aspect of it that stresses me out the most is the singing. And knowing how hard of a sing Inez was I was like, do I want to do this 8 times a week? And it was really scary. But once I found her physicality, really unlocked it for me. And once I found that, and it took me like a full workshop and a lot of pep talks from our director and a reading to like really find it and make it my own. And also Shaina wrote new music for my voice, which made me feel a lot more comfortable. That now I can't imagine, and Kim has made like such a mark with Ruja that now I can't imagine playing a different part. But at first, like I would be saying, and Shaina's changed it too. Now I say some lines in the show that I used to say as Ruja, and sometimes it's like a little weird when your like mind is really tired on the last show of the week or something. But it's really cool to get to see the show from those two very different perspectives. That's like a very cool thing. Yeah,
especially for one that's so early in its life. Like when Suffs is still running in 10 years, or when there's a revival somewhere and you can come back and play a completely different part. And it's like there's people who do Les Mis and like through the years keep going back and do the different parts.
Yeah.
You can eventually tick off all of the Suffs.
Yeah, that would actually be incredible.
Or a one-person version.
Or that.
Yeah.
Sure, like Cher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we need. Is the Cher West Side Story version of
Cher
Suffs.
should do the Cher show as a one-woman show. She should do that.
That would sell all the tickets.
Or Celine Dion should do Cats as a one-woman show. We could do either one.
We'd be here all day. Listen. But yes, so you're having this Broadway experience. Finally, you just got to do, I guess, your first Tony Awards.
Yeah.
What was that like?
That was really wild. I didn't know. We had to be here at like 8 o'clock, get in full face, full costume, full wig, and get to the Lincoln Center to fully do our number full out, because they record it just in case something goes wrong in the live broadcast, and then they re-air it. I didn't know about that. And then we had a matinee, and then we had like a little bit of a break, and then we had to go back and perform and then get right back on a bus and come here. And it was a very hectic day. It was a really long day. I almost like at the beginning I was like, I can't wait for this day to be over. But then like once we got to the party, it was like very cool. And I didn't think I would be as nervous as I was for the performance element, but I was like truly shaking. It was to have like Jennifer Hudson was in the front row, Cynthia Erivo was in the front row. It was just like really wild. And I think seeing their faces doing something like Keep Marching was really inspiring. That song like sneaks up on you. Yeah.
And were you performing, had Shaina already won both Tonys by that point?
So we had just got there, and we were saying hello to the Illinois cast as they were leaving, and we were watching the broadcast on a phone, and we heard her win Best Score outside of Lincoln Center. I was like, oh, I'll never sing again. I screamed so loud. And then we got to be with her as like they tried to get her in her wig and costume, and she's like, did I win? Like she could not believe she won, and the Tony was just sitting in front of her, and we were all just, it was, so getting to perform right after that was like the craziest adrenaline high. And I'm just like, it makes me so proud to be in this show. And I'm just so grateful. I mean, best book and best score, that's the substance. That's it. So that's like, who could ask for anything more than that?
We were jumping up and down from London at like 3 a.m. or whatever it was, just so pleased. And it must be so interesting to be in the show with her particularly as Inez, because you get to share very interesting exchanges with her as Alice.
Yeah.
And obviously you've done Hamilton before, which sort of like Lin-Manuel Miranda was the Shaina Taub of that show, but not with you. And so getting to be in it and be in development, is that surreal? Is that amazing? What's that like?
Yeah, I forget a lot of the time that Shaina wrote the show. It's like, she's so silly, and like we have such a fun friendship, and like all of the girls and us do. But I forget, like, I don't ever forget how brilliant she is, but it's not like always top of my mind when we're like being little girls backstage and just like joking around. And then like sometimes it'll hit me. I'll be sitting I sit in her dressing room and chill out at some points in the show, and I'll just like see her Tony Award sitting on her desk, and I'm like, oh God, yeah. She did all of this, and getting to see how much the show has changed since the public and how much has changed since even the workshop we did 2.5 years ago or whatever. And knowing how much work she's done on this is like, and kind of seeing a little behind the scenes of like notes she would get and like how she internalized things and like why she would change things. And she's just so good at writing for us. And yeah, it's an honor to even be friends with her. So
It's an amazing all-female non-binary cast as well. Who else is inspiring you on stage, off stage, in this building? Who are the other amazing people, Shaina Taub aside?
Oh God. I mean, Jen Colella and Nikki M. James for me. Jen, her like sense of play, she's been doing this for like a long time. And I've been listening to Jen and her voice and seeing her work for a lot of my career. And now having her as like a trusted friend and confidant is like very special to me. And seeing the way she moves through this business is very inspirational to me, and the way she brings joy every day. Because that's like a tough thing to do. I struggle with that because I'm a very introverted person, and she's so good at welcoming people into her. And then Nikki, I got to see her be pregnant and have a child and go through all of that, all while navigating this flawlessly and I just like I wish I had like more stuff with Nikki on stage, because I just love acting with her. She's so special. She's so special. And I just, and Grace, I wish I had more stage time with her too, because I learned a lot from her. And even watching her through the workshops, every time she would do ladies, it's always different. It's always remarkable. I think she's like one of the greatest comedic actresses I've ever seen.
Amazing. It's a fantastic cast, yourself included. It's just so many amazing people. It's that moment that Emily has at the end.
It's my favorite song in the show.
That little 11 o'clock number moment. So the first time we saw it, she'd done the whole bit as Alpha Belmont. And I was like, great, I get to see Emily Skinner on stage again. Wonderful.
Sure.
And then she gets that other moment at the end of the show, and I burst into tears.
Yeah, it surprises you.
Yeah.
And it really happened, which is also just like absolutely insane. But that number in Emily's voice is like unmatched. It's unmatched. There's a part in Keep Marching actually where we're all standing in a line, and I'm standing next to Emily, and I always sing a little quieter just so I can hear her. And I just, oh my God. It's just like, it's just vibrato rich heaven. Yeah. I love her voice.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah, she's amazing. That's one of my favorite writing moments, just one of the brilliant little nuggets of awesomeness from Shaina as well.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing opens with this very flippant Jen Colella is singing Let Mother Vote, and it's very tongue-in-cheek, and that's exactly and that's how it gets ratified. Yeah. And it's the cleverness of that coming back. And anyway, I could keep on gushing.
Yeah. And I saw someone else, this made an interesting point. This is not mine. This is someone on TikTok, I think. They were saying that Shaina is asking, or Alice is asking, is it worth it? Like, I can't be a revolutionary and be a mother, and I have to go and be in this fight myself. And then this woman who was a mother and couldn't go march because she was a mother, but yet they both have impact on the end result. That's like really incredible.
I hadn't even thought that. No, that's genius.
Yeah, it's really incredible. So there's like a lot of layers to the show that I'm still now learning, being in it for as long as I've been in it.
Yeah. Inez Milholland gets a lot of space in the show to consider how much of her life she is able to lead while still advocating for this with ultimately all of her strength. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on balancing now being on Broadway, developing a lot of new musicals, doing this as a very challenging career while trying to lead a life at the same time?
Yeah, I haven't figured it out yet, to be completely honest. I've never had a great work-life balance. It's something I'm really working on. The thing that I haven't really anticipated with this role in particular is the physical impact it's had on my body. And now it's really tough for me to find any time outside of this building that's not like getting the body work done so I can do this 8 times a week. I really wasn't anticipating the physical toll it was going to take. So I'm still working on that. I'm getting married next month, and so I have like 8 or 9 days off, and that is like my finish line. So I'm really excited because I think I need a reset, because this is tough. It's really tough, and I love it so much, or I wouldn't be here every single day. But finding the balance is tough. Yeah.
Does it help that your partner is a performer? Because you met on the Hamilton tour, right?
Yes. So he totally understands, which is incredibly helpful, because I think it would be really hard if someone didn't understand. And I love this career so much, and it's like in many ways like one of my top priorities, and I plan to work until I'm dead. So like this is never gonna change. And
I've got you down for that Gypsy revival.
Listen, I'm ready. So being with someone who understands that is super important to me. And he's been like, I wouldn't be in Suffs if it wasn't for him, to be completely honest, because I wasn't gonna go to the audition, and he made it so. Wow. Yeah. And it wasn't because I didn't want to go to the audition. It was just because like I had to travel to get there, and my flight was canceled, and it was 2. And
I read about this, but yeah, because you were going from you were going to quit.
Yeah, doing Young Frankenstein, and I like everything went wrong, and I was like crying in the airport, and he was like, we'll get you there," and I did it, and I booked it. I really wouldn't have gone. I was like, I've gotten better at this, but sometimes when things get too hard, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
I read that the audition panel had been told about your travel plans, and so they like applauded you when you got there.
Yes, it was very kind, and like Lee came and shook my hand, which is something I really admire and like in a director, is like to be personable with you and treat you like a person, because we're all people. And it was such a warm room, and when I was going in for Ruja, and I felt really safe to make really weird choices, and it worked out.
That's just called travel fatigue.
Yeah,
at that
really.
point.
I was so sleep deprived and felt insane.
Yeah.
But that worked.
I can see that making a lot of sense.
Yeah. Did you see it at the public?
No.
Okay.
No. It's the first time we saw it was here a couple months ago.
Yeah, it was so different.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard. Yeah. Do you have any like sooner than Gypsy dream roles to look to in the future? Are you loving just getting to continue developing new stuff? Is there another opportunity for you to be on stage with your soon-to-be husband?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to play Blanche Dubois in Streetcar. That's like been a dream role for me for a very, very long time. I would love to do anything Shakespeare. Would be, I think both Edred and I would love to do some Shakespeare together. Yeah, I'd love to do more plays. I did a play, Off-Broadway, with Michael Urie, did the Da Vinci Code, and it was like the time of my life. So I would really love to dive into a juicy play. That would be a dream.
Amazing. I can't wait to come see you in it.
Yay.
Yeah. In the meantime, you're doing a fantastic job, just amazing, exciting work in Suffs. Enjoy the rest of this Broadway debut experience and all of the other exciting things that are going to come with that.
Thank you, Mickey.
Amazing. Thank you for taking the time to chat to me. It was very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for watching this new interview video. Make sure to comment down below with which star you would like me to chat to next. In the meantime, I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm MickeyJoTheatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!